People treat me like I've never had an AMD computer. You know what? Just for fun, I'm going to try and list out all the processors I've ever run.
Oh, I can't remember this.
This is
Every time
gonna
you
be
do this,
really
I'm like,
difficult.
I have no idea what I had.
It's going to be really hard. Okay, so the first CPU I ever owned was a Pentium 90. Like, this was my personal tower. I inherited it from my uncle. It was a Pentium 90 in like the early 2000s. So it was like pretty slow.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the first rig I ever built for myself, Athlon XP 2500 Plus.
Heck yeah.
Bought me that 2500 Plus, baby. Then I got a 2500 Plus mobile because it overclocked a little better. Overclocked that thing to 3200 Plus. But guys, AMD fans, speaking from the heart, for heart to heart here, okay? We were deluding ourselves if we thought that a 3200 Plus was actually equivalent to a 3.2 gigahertz Northwood C, okay? That was not a thing that was real.
2% of the audience understands what's going on right
Next CPU was, I believe it was a Clawhammer. I want to say it was a 3200 Plus. It was the one with less cache. Was it North something? Shoot. Okay, so no, not Northbridge. Go on, get out of here.
Northby Bridge.
No.
Ivy Sandy.
Okay, so Sledgehammer was FX only, and then Clawhammer was the single core, whatever. It was a socket 754 single core Athlon 64. It was a huge upgrade, and the reason that I went to that was because at the time, games were basically exclusively single-threaded. So hyper-threading, while it was nice for your overall system responsiveness, did not make a difference for games, and games was 90+% of what I did on my rig. So I picked up an Athlon 64 single-core. Okay, my next upgrade was to socket 939. And the reason that I had to go from 754 to 939, I was super pissed off. Like, that's another thing. AMD fans are so quick to point at Intel for retiring their motherboard chipsets so frequently and making you buy a new motherboard. It's like, don't imagine for a second that AMD's hands are clean in all of this either. Socket 754 lasted for like 10 months or something stupid like that. I can't remember what it was. And 940 on the desktop was even worse. So I went to socket 939 and picked myself up. This was the most expensive CPU I ever bought for myself. It was a 4400 Plus. And the reason I went for that was because it was the first consumer dual core processor. I'm not counting I don't even know, was Itanium multi-core? I don't know, it doesn't matter. The point was, it was the first dual core processor that you could buy for the desktop. It was the full 1 meg cache. Was it 1 meg per core or 1 meg? Can't remember, compared to the 4200 Plus, which had less cache. So that meant that with overclocking, you could get full 4800 Plus performance, which was, other than the FX line, which was basically dumb because it was just an overclocked the other thing. So other than the FX line, it was the fastest consumer chip you could get. So from my 4800 Plus, what did I go to? I got an Opteron 165. Are you noticing a pattern here? Noticing a pattern?
A lot of AMD
A lot of
chips.
AMD, isn't that funny?
Most of my growth was on AMD chips as well.
So I got an Opteron 165, and the reason for that was it overclocked slightly better. That was around the same time I picked up ASRock's very unique AGP and PCI Express board, because I had an AGP card at the time, and I wanted to move to PCI Express
Those were
later.
kinda cool.
It was a great overclocking board, shockingly, other than the fact that you couldn't run 1T on your memory timings no matter what you did. I tried everything. All right, from there, I went to the E6600. Now, why would I do that? Well, because Conroe was a performance revolution. It was a complete game changer. It absolutely curb stomped the aging Athlon 64. And AMD didn't catch up. So from there, I went to Q6600. From there, I went to Q9650, very temporarily. I borrowed that one from work. I think it was a QX9650, excuse me. Borrowed that one from work, delidded that. I believe I was the first person to ever delid a QX9650.
You delidded a work thing?
Don't worry about it.
Oh. Interesting.
From there, I picked up a Core i7-920. Man, that was a beast of a chip. Got myself, this was right around the time that Qimonda went out of business. So Qimonda, remember Qimonda?
Yeah.
Yeah, so their Anion consumer lineup of memory. I don't even know if this is interesting to people. They might not even be watching. I don't care. Doesn't matter. So their Anion brand, they had these 1 gig DIMMs that they were liquidating for, I think our cost was $20 a pop. And at the time, that was nuts.
Wild. Yeah.
It was wild. So NCIX bought everything that we could take. And internally, we were buying them at cost. So it was sick. So I bought some. I still have some of that Aeon memory.
Okay, hold on. One quick second here, just out of interest. In that era, upgrading your RAM was like a huge deal. It happened a lot.
Yes and no. No, we were a little bit after that. RAM was not affecting gaming performance anymore, especially because on the 1366 platform, it was triple channel memory.
Yeah,
so you had
a little bit before that.
6 memory slots. So when I had, were they 2 gig DIMMs? I think they were 2 gigs for $20. They were 2 gig DIMMs for $20, and you could get the 1 gig ones for 10.
I just remember when we first started playing like EverQuest.
I never played EverQuest.
Everybody had to go get more RAM.
I had a life.
Everybody that I knew had to
job.
like go get more RAM in order to play EverQuest. But everything else worked fine.
I had a job and a girlfriend.
I did not. I was younger though.
Anyway, so sorry. So I went to a 920. Then I think at some point I moved to like an Extreme Edition on that platform that I borrowed from work.
That's the only reason why I actually switched to Intel originally, was because I got a Retail Edge Extreme Edition. And I was like, this deal is way too good.
Yep.
So of course the price performance here is wild. Yeah.
So Retail Edge, speaking of Retail Edge, I believe I went 3000 series through Retail Edge, and then that was right around the time that I became a product reviewer and I started more legitimately getting chips that I could use in my personal rig from work.
Yeah.
So I've been running Intel since then, and actually my personal rig, even though I upgraded it, I did publish a video about that recently, I ended up downgrading it again, so I'm still running a 5960X. So I am looking for an upgrade. I need Thunderbolt, which might be a problem, or maybe I could just run discrete cables. I don't know. I'll figure it out. USB 3 extension cables are a bad time from my experience, though.
Yes.